Hello there, nerds. Welcome back to another episode of Video Nerds. And you know what? I did it without doing this.
Video Nerds.
I'm the ManNerd, and I am here with
StephenShred. As always, that is me.
all day long. All right, today we are going to a galaxy far, far away. A long time ago, but not as long as other stories. We are jumping into Ahsoka. And you know what? I'm going to hand this over to StephenShred because he's the one that watched all of Clone Wars and Rebels and pretty much all of that. So he knows all of that stuff way better than I do. So go for it.
Man, my excitement for this series, because let's be real, okay? Like I've been a long time Star Wars fan. You know, since I was a kid, my dad was a huge Star Wars fan, all that. It has been a long time since I've been excited about something Star Wars. You know, It's like we have The Mandalorian, but Season 3 of The Mandalorian had its moments, but overall wasn't as exciting. And then, you know, Book of Boba Fett before that, and then all the movies and all the side stuff, just, nah.
Yep. And even Andor, you know, it was good, but I didn't
Very
finish
slow.
it. I was like, eh.
But Ahsoka, you know, she's a character from Clone Wars that has never been live action before. And then finally, Mandalorian rolls around. They start picking up all of these side stories and all of these just animated stories and start bringing them to life. The moment, like, I watched it at midnight when it came out, and they hadn't teased anything. But the moment I saw white lightsabers, I was like, no way. And then they brought in Ahsoka, which, for those who do not know, Ahsoka was a Padawan during the Clone Wars, and she was Anakin's Padawan. And it was a big part of the story for me that she had this direct connection to Anakin in a way that other people didn't. And she saw him go from, you know, trying to do his best, do all this stuff, becoming Jedi Master, dealing with all the hardships that he was dealing with, you know, his pull back and forth between the light and the dark with his attachments, and then later becoming Darth Vader. So this series and Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka has just been so, like, insane to me. So I had to pull Mandrew away from the anime. You know, we've been going hard on the Attack on Titan lately, but we had to give this series a go, and man,
Yeah, and
I
2
am super
episodes at
excited.
once, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So not being the Ahsoka aficionado, tell me your thoughts on the character and what we got to see. Without spoilers, we'll get to that later.
So I did enjoy it. Now, little background. I love Star Wars, all the movies. Only a few of them are good. But anyway, a lot of the shows saw the animated stuff, just a couple seasons of Clone Wars, and then that's about it. So I do know a little bit about her, so I saw her a little bit. And I kind of like the aspect of she's grown up now. She's, you know, it's after the fall of the Jedi and a little bit jaded. So she doesn't have that kid-like quality that she had before. But, you know, I was very excited when I saw that, like you were, in Mandalorian. It was like, oh yeah, hell yeah. So this series, I think, is going to be good. These other characters I just don't really know anything about, and when you were explaining them to me, it sounds really cool, especially Sabine. It's like a freaking Jedi Padawan and a Mandalorian. It's like, hell yeah, that's dope as shit. So yeah, I'd say my take on this is it's so far probably better than The Mandalorian Season 3. I would hope so. Let's see how it goes. And definitely better than Book of Boba Fett. I like these characters and the overarching big bad. We'll see. Seems like it's going to be pretty cool. And I'm looking on the IMDb page here, and apparently David Tennant's in it. So I guess we'll figure that out, huh?
Yeah, I'm very excited for this, though. Like, the show in its entirety, like, as far as its cast goes, is basically a lot of Rebels callbacks. A lot of the main characters from Rebels pop up in here. Sabine, I think a lot of people, because of the negative reaction of Rey, have, like, a weird thing with, like, female characters now in Star Wars. I don't know if you've seen that, but I have a feeling that Sabine might get a little backlash because like they think that might be some kind of girl power play, but it's literally her character from Rebels.
Yeah, I was getting that that girl power vibe though.
Yeah, I mean, that comes from her being, freaking Mandalorian.
Yeah, but also it was the whole Ahsoka's in it, Sabine's in it, and then Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character. What
Hera.
is it, Hera? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were all together, and it's like, okay, girl power for sure.
Yeah, but that could be due to the fact that the three technically, but two of the main male characters from Rebels aren't there for various reasons, which I guess I'll mention in the spoilers. But I'm super excited for the show, and it'll be nice to actually see Star Wars go back to Jedi stuff. I feel like we haven't gotten that. It almost feels like a rare treat these days.
Yeah, and even when we did get like the Obi-Wan, it was like that was not Jedi. It was like it was getting to it, and then finally at the last episode, it was like, oh, this is Star Wars, and then it was over.
Yeah, that show felt very weird. Like the Inquisitor that was secretly not an Inquisitor, like that seemed like a wasted plotline because like what did that really matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the Kenobi show just kind of bummed me out because it's like such a great idea, but it felt like a whole lot of nothingness and just an excuse to give us a bunch of flashbacks.
And now we've actually got something new, a new story to go on with old characters. So
Yeah.
this will be nice. Okay.
And taking place in a timeline that we haven't explored a ton in that in that point of view.
Yeah, and they're getting away from the main movie storylines that they did in this. This would be taken. Would it be around the same time as 7, 8, 9 or later?
Yeah, so this would be taking place at the same time as The Mandalorian takes place, which I
Okay.
believe is about 8 years after the fall of the Empire.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to it, man. We're doing it.
All right.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Okay. Your favorite parts of the first 2 episodes. What are they?
Man, it's got to be seeing, like, it's not one scene in particular, but it's just seeing lightsaber fights again, man. Like, it feels like that's so Star Wars, but Star Wars hasn't been that in a while. Like, a good lightsaber fight between, multiple different, opponents. Like, just seeing it go down, like, just makes me feel like I'm watching Star Wars again,
And we finally got characters that actually use their lightsabers.
Yeah, because it's like the most Star Wars experience I've had in the past few years. Mandalorian's awesome, but it almost doesn't feel Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars-esque.
Yeah, you're right.
But the most I've gotten in the last few years has been playing the games. Jedi Fallen Order and then Jedi Survivor. But my favorite parts have just been the lightsaber fights because it's like I'm watching Star Wars,
Man, that's what it is for most of us. It's the Jedi, man. That's what it is. Jedi and
it's
Sith.
like, through the generations, what's the number one takeaway from little kids who are into Star Wars? They want to play with lightsabers.
Yep. I have adult lightsabers, so I know how that is.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to get one at some point. So it's like, that's the number one thing. It's like blasters are cool. The Mandalorian armor is cool. All this stuff is cool. Space, travel, cool. Lightsabers, though.
Yeah.
That's what I associate most with Star Wars. And that's what most people associate most with Star Wars. So we have it back.
Oh, yeah. And we have to wait weekly now, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
But you know what? At least we have a Disney Plus show that we're watching again.
True, because the Marvel shows have been stinkers.
Yeah, and I didn't even, I made it through 1 to 2 episodes of Secret Invasion, and that was over.
I didn't watch a single one, and I'm glad I didn't, because that ending fight scene looked goofy as hell.
Yep, I don't even want to know anything about it. But
Probably for
anyway,
the best.
Star Wars. Hopefully this is the jumping off for, more Jedi stuff. So that's going to be hopefully really, really cool. Now, let's see. Don't spoil anything. Well, actually, since this is all new stuff, you won't spoil anything. But what are your predictions for where this is going to go, or what kind of characters are going to jump in?
So I'm not like 100% sure on exactly where the story is going to go. Like, this is definitely Rebel stuff, because Thrawn was like the big bad of Rebels, and the whole thing was that him and Ezra Bridger was like the main character. He was a force sensitive like kid. He gets found by Kanan Jarrus, who was he was in training as a Padawan when Order 66 happened. Mm-hmm. So he has the experience of training as a Jedi, but he's not like a full-fledged like Jedi master or anything, because that wasn't a thing. And so Kanan becomes his master, teaches him about the Force and how to wield a lightsaber and all this stuff. So they end up running into Thrawn, who is one of like the higher ups in the Empire. And basically the entire show circulates around Thrawn trying to eliminate Jedi presence, and then the main cast of Rebels trying to take it down because Empire bad. So I'm not entirely sure exactly where the show is going to go, but I do have a feeling that we're going to get some Easter eggs of certain other characters, like from the bigger stuff, like maybe another Luke appearance. Maybe we get something like a little crazy, like we get to see some of the characters from like maybe some of the characters from later stuff, like the newer trilogy popping up, but then at the same time I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, probably not. Probably best to stay away from that.
Yeah, but I think the big thing will be Ezra and Thrawn maybe not being mortal enemies when they're found. Maybe they find some kind of common ground, because Thrawn's whole thing was he was like this very intimidating, like powerful leader, and they get into their final battle, and when that happens they hyperspace away, and Ezra and Thrawn are trapped on the ship together, and they just get shot out into space and no one knows where they went, and that's why they disappear. So that's Sabine's thing, is she wants to find Ezra. Ahsoka's thing is she wants to find Thrawn and make sure that the Empire has no chance of ever coming back under his order. So I have a feeling that when they find Thrawn and Ezra, they're gonna find some kind of common ground, because it's been almost like 10 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if like maybe they're just like not cool with each other, but they're just kind of like learning to accept each other or something, and maybe it has some kind of like greater lesson. I don't know.
Or they found a spot where they split off, and then there's people there, or a race, and they build their own armies. That would be sweet.
I mean, it could be that, because the whole thing with Jedi Survivor is the main antagonist is trying to get to this like safe new planet away from Order 66 and away from, or not Order 66, because he's from like the old Republic, but away from all the war and everything. It's supposed to be a safe haven. So it's possible that maybe they ended up on one of these planets that they call like a safe haven, and turned it into their own like colonies, and they have their own factions. That's definitely a possibility too.
Yeah, that would be cool. Open up a new part of the world, which is they're showing that wherever they went from these episodes is like on the edge of the galaxy. Yeah,
which is gonna most likely be like a common occurrence, because that's stuff that we haven't really explored.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool though. I think one of the main things that I want from this though, and I want to see Ahsoka get back into like her full power, because like I was showing you yesterday, Ahsoka went toe to toe with Vader. She beat Darth Maul one-on-one. Like, she's extremely powerful and extremely good with lightsaber, but she just feels so nerfed. Like, for some reason she's barely able to handle her own against like a couple droids. It's like, what's that about?
I hope they're not doing what they did with Obi-Wan, where he was nerfed, and then finally back to power at the end, and then it was done.
Yeah, like I would like Ahsoka to maybe fall back into it somehow. Maybe they're just like, oh, I've been trying to repress my power because of this or that, the usual things. But I just really don't want her to be like struggling against people that don't even have proper training when she's supposed to be one of the best lightsaber duelists around. Just doesn't make sense.
I guess we'll find out, man.
Yep.
We will find out. Okay. So before we get to the rating, who's your favorite character out of the first 2 episodes?
I would normally say Ahsoka, but older Ahsoka has so much less of a personality, which we see in Rebels too. She's just kind of like, I don't know, like harboring the fact that Anakin is Darth Vader and all that kind of stuff. So like we see that personality kind of carry on. So I would have to go with Sabine, because Sabine is pretty much the same character she was before. Which, fun fact, the scene where Sabine cuts her hair and they're gonna take off to go find Ezra, that is literally the final scene of Rebels turned into live action.
Oh, that's cool. I bet that was exciting.
Yeah, I was hyped. I even told you, I was like, I have a fun fact, but I'm gonna save it for tomorrow. Yeah, it is literally shot for shot the exact same scene. How about you though? Who's your favorite?
I'd say it was you say it, Balin Skull. Played by Ray Stevenson. I thought big hulking dude. You don't really get you can see that he's pretty powerful and just intimidating, the size of him.
Yep.
Just can't wait to see more of that.
Yep, Ray Stevenson had a presence to him. Rest in peace.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to see the rest of that. It's going to be awesome.
Yep. I mean, it's looking good. If this is his last role, which I'm not sure if it is, but I believe I saw somewhere that it is. If this is his final performance, then, it's shaping up to be a good one, because he definitely plays an intimidating villain. And, does it get more intimidating than somebody rolling in with a red lightsaber?
Oh, hell yeah. And towering over everybody.
Yeah, dude's massive.
All right. Well, let's get to the ratings, man.
All right. I'm biased as hell. I'm going D20 because I was excited for the show since they announced it, and I got my lightsaber fights and all that good stuff. So D20 all the way.
All right. I'm going D12 because I'm gun shy with Star Wars nowadays. But that's still pretty damn good. Still good.
That's definitely fair, man. I don't know how many of these shows have started out good, and then we're just like, man, what are we even watching? So I'm really hoping we don't get that here.
Yep. All right. Well, until next time, we'll catch up with everybody at the end of the season, see how it shaped up, and go from there and check out some other shows that are going to pop up here. And we're getting some Attack on Titan coming up here. When? Couple months?
They haven't said yet, but when it goes down, it's going to go down. But maybe we'll do a little special late to the party once we wrap up everything that has gotten out so far.
Yep. Which I'm close.
Yep, you're about 30 episodes off.
Oof. Okay. All right. Well, until next time, we will see you later.
See ya.